Hello, teachers, students, mentors. A very warm welcome to a very special session called as AI for Accessibility. You all know right now we are into the India AI Impact Festival 2025, jointly hosted by Atal Innovation Mission and Intel India with few other partners. Today is a very special session when you can get to know how you can enable AI-enabled projects for your submissions, where the theme can be AI for accessibility. Since all of you are making projects to targeting through the social innovations or the social impact, this session is very important, where first we will see how the India AI Impact Festival is shaping up. Where are the important links? What is the portal all about? Through our one of the partners, Gaurav Bagga. Very warm welcome, Gaurav. And we have partners from Change Inc., who is taking this special session on AI for accessibility. For that, I welcome Aparajita Singh from Change Inc. to take this session. So without further ado, I'm passing it on to Gaurav Baggaji, who will take you through the India AI Impact Festival portal. And subsequently, he will pass on to Aparajita, who will take care of AI for accessibility. Very important session. Again, very warm welcome to all of you, and do attend this for the next 40-45 odd minutes. Over to you, Gaurav.
Hello, Shubham. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to joining us live. My name is Gaurav, and I am a part of Intel Digital Readiness team. Uh, and here I am going to showcase you the India AI Impact Festival site. Just give me a second. Let me share my screen with all of you. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes.
So this is the site for India AI Impact Festival 2025 in partners with AIM, Niti Aayog, NILET, CBSC, and Intel. So let me take you through the website. So this is the website, and what is India AI Impact Festival? The India AI Impact Festival is a national level platform organized by different government partners in collaboration with Intel India. It enables students to showcase AI, AIoT solutions, and educators, institutions to share the best practices in AI, AIoT skilling. The festival will focus on AI innovation for social impact and aim to foster innovation to address real world challenges and achieve unsustainable development goals. Who can participate in this? Impact creators, students from academic and technical institutions below and above 18 years. Impact shapers, educators from academic and technical institutions. Impact nurturers, principals, heads of academic and technical institutions sharing their institution's journey. Why to participate? Opportunity to win awards and certificates. Potential opportunity to showcase projects and gain national recognition. To nurture and accelerate AI innovations for social impact. Share best practices to enhance AI teaching learning process. Cultivate innovation and creativity among students and educators. Develop problem solving skills. Enhance AI readiness among participants. And contributes to unsustainable development goals. So this is the website for India AI Impact Festival. There are some national awards for impact creators, the students, impact shapers, the educators, and impact nurturers for academic and technical institutions as well. And special mentions are for the impact creators, the students with Nari Shakti AIoT, Aspirational District, and AI for Industry. You must be thinking how to participate in this. So, for impact creators, they can sign up on AI Student Community platform at this website, aistudent.community. Click on the Impact Festival button. After going on the website, select 2025 to access the festival and registration form. Fill in the registration form. On successful registration, log in, select your category, and submit your entry. Receive a confirmation email on successful submission of your entry. And now, how Impact Shapers can participate is they have to sign up on the AI Facilitator community. After signing up at AI Facilitator community, they have to click on Impact Festival button, then select 2025 to access the festival, fill in the registration form, and on successful registration, log in and select your category and submit your entry. Then you receive a confirmation email on successful submission of your entry. And for impact nurturers, they also have to sign up at AI Facilitator community. After signing up, they have to do the same steps. Click on Impact Festival button, then select 2025, fill in the registration form, and on successful registration, they have to log in, select their category, submit your entry, and then receive a confirmation email on successful submission of your entry. What to submit? Impact creators, they have to submit a concise project in a PDF format outlining their problem statement and project solutions. AI and AIoT tools and techniques utilized. Scalable and sustainable impact. Corresponding UN SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals covered, and a 2-minute video of the participants detailing their project. For impact shapers, a poster showcasing innovative AI, AIoT teaching learning practices, enhancing student education, and then a 2-minute video elaborating on their AI, AIoT journey, accompanying the poster. And for impact nurturers, submit the details of the institution's AI journey over the past 2 years, including exemplary projects developed by students. Then there are evaluation of entries. You all can go through this. And there is the timeline as well. As of now, the Impact Festival deadline is of 31st August 2025. But we are in discussion with our partners to extend it for a few days. And here are some frequently asked questions. You can go through this while going through the website and see if you have any doubt whether it is answered over here or not. If not, then you can consider to our helpline, India AI Impact Fest at gmail.com. Here you can post your queries and you can also download India AI Impact Festival flyer from here and you can share it with your peers as well. And from here as well, you can click on register to participate and register yourself for the India AI Impact Festival 2025. And now I hand over this session to Aprajita Singh. Thank you all.
Thank you, Gaurav, for taking us through a very detailed understanding of what the Impact Festival is about. I welcome all of you to be a part of this session where we are going to understand what accessibility exactly translates into, when we are looking at solutioning for the larger community. I welcome you all, and it's very heartening to have such budding pool of solutioners, creators that are now focusing on accessibility as the core of their innovation. So, what we're going to do in this session is that I'm going to share a presentation, walk you through in terms of what accessibility exactly means and why should that be the core of largely all innovation needs right now that we have. I am Aprajita. I am representing an organization, Change Inc. At Change Inc., we work to strengthen the ecosystem for people with specific learning disabilities, which are an invisible lot of disabilities, to make sure that their skills impact the economic growth of the country. And today, we'll focus on accessibility as an emerging tech perspective. So we will start with understanding what is assistive technology. We've heard a lot about it, right? All of us have our own understanding. Okay, this has to be something tangible, this has to be something complicated. But more than often, we don't realize that anything that is assisting you to be able to learn, think, overcome a challenge like writing, calculating, time management, any of it can be called assistive tech. And this primarily can be a device, a software, or even an equipment that helps you learn better, communicate better, and function better. We need to remember that we exist in a world where this has become more than a cane or a wheelchair or a very stereotypical understanding of what a walking cane or a wheelchair looks like. So, right, one of the most common ones that we are now using is our glasses, right? The glasses that we wear. So, it does not need to be very complex. It does not need to always be very expensive, and we are also going to understand that, we mostly associate that assistive technology has got to do something where you have an impairment or a disability. But today we are trying to break that myth. While that is true, but it's not only limited to that. Um, this assistive tech tools also help you perform better. Anything that you're lacking or impairing in does not necessarily have to be a disability. Uh, we have been using a lot of AT solutions around us the most. Some of it that we use in our daily life is audible, text to speech, speech to text. Our calendars that we use on Google or Outlook, Speechify, Grammarly, YouTube. When we are using our smart TVs, there's so many features that we are using, like could be closed captioning, could be the brightness, the contrast that you set for your screen or your phones. So we need to realize that assistive technology has become a part of our daily lives. And this is what helps us be able to absorb information better and communicate in the way that it suits us the best. So there's a lot of agency that assistive technology provides the user. So when we look at things and we try to break things right into basic understanding of the future features that exist, we only have so many features that can be assisted. It could be reading as a functionality, writing as a functionality, watching, listening, and organizing. And under each functionality, we have features, and there are only so many, right? So while what you have to provide is very exhaustive, but you can do that in numerous amount of combinations and permutations around you. This is a very interesting way of looking at once you're trying to innovate for a disability, you primarily try to solve for the core impairment of a disability, right? For example, right now we have audiobooks, right? When we came up with the idea of audiobooks, they were primarily to focus on people with any kind of visual impairment and as an alternative to Braille, right? But right now, in today's time, if you look at it, after so many years, audiobooks have become a part of our daily life, right? It's one of the most accessible ways of studying, of gaining information, which is also translated into podcasts, right? A lot of us right now are opting for it. So you see that once you solve for a gap, it eventually also has the potential to grow up to become a more diverse solution that is fulfilling the needs of a larger audience. So please, when you're trying to solution, when you're trying to put accessibility at the core, remember that the use case that you're developing for can be expansive, and that becomes very, very important for us to understand that what could be the probable use cases that we are trying to solve for. This is the most interesting way to put out that AT is more common and the availability is right out there in front of us, and not necessarily every time any assistive technology around us needs to be very complex or very expensive. Right now, most of the devices that we are also interacting with using right now will have most basic of the operating systems, could be Google, Microsoft, or Apple, and you will see that the benchmarks functionalities which are assistive in nature very similar across all of these. So you realize that the biggest of the tech giant are also keeping a standard
Hello everyone. There is some technical glitch with the Zoom account. Just give us a minute. We are fixing it.
Okay, hello. I will just reshare from where we sort of dropped out and continue from there. Okay, so we were talking about that how the tech giants around us currently are focusing on this, and therefore it becomes very imperative on us that if we want to sustain, just give me a minute.
Some people with disabilities may use assistive technology.
That if we want our solutions to be largely acceptable, then we need to make sure that what we are building up is backed with accessibility feature. Let's quickly have a run through of a video in terms of accessibility.
Some people with disabilities may use assistive technology, or AT, to access content or perform tasks. This can be any equipment, software, or product that is used to increase, maintain, or improve a person's functional capabilities. There's a wide variety of AT products and applications that enable people to improve their ability to access technology. AT doesn't necessarily need to be high-tech or expensive. Did you know that if you are wearing glasses, you are using AT? Do you use Post-it notes to help with reminders? These are both inexpensive tools that can help improve your ability to perform a task and can be used by people with and without disabilities.
So again, one of the core things that we're trying to understand is that a lot of what you're going to create, even for people with disabilities or the larger population, you need to make sure that your user can be any of the two. And you need to make sure that whatever you're creating as a solution, a product, needs to be something that can be used by both. So again, very important to work on understanding what could be your probable use cases. Then in our perspective that are limiting, we should also try think beyond what could those limiting perspectives look like. Again, very important to understand who could be your user. You can have somebody that you imagine, and largely by default of how the disability representation happens, one can look like either or. We will, because we are solutioners, we are impact creators, we are problem solvers, will focus on what we can see on the right, on the positive, on the more capable side of the things. Again, this is very important for you as creators and solutioners to understand that technology which is assistive in nature has a huge market. There's almost close to 2 billion PWD population, and we'll also understand when we talk about persons with disability, what all spectrums are we focusing on. Then $13 trillion is the purchasing power of the people with disabilities around us, which is larger than the China market. So we need to know, like, mostly we think that, oh, this person with disability, why should I make him or her my use case? Why should I look into their needs, because they might not be buying what I'm creating for, but anything that's accessible, a lot of our lives depend on that primarily. Right. The disposable income of PWD is very high. The physical rehabilitation market, again, which is very important for us to improve, to grow, to be capable, has a lot of potential. And 2.5 billion people, irrespective of a disability or not, need assistive products, right? So mainstream of assistive solution is more visible than we see, like we spoke earlier. It could be something as basic as your specs, the chashma that you wear, to closed captioning, to audiobooks, podcast, grammar check, right? The dictation that we use, the autocorrect, right? So all of this is very mainstreamed in our lives. Again, talking about the assistive technology landscape, we need to see that right now our country has the Rights of Persons with Disability Act, formally recognizing 21 disabilities. Long back it was just 7, so we have grown up the spectrum. Then you have temporary disabilities, right? Something which is temporary, which is going to get better with time, let's say a fracture, but also impairs you of one of your abilities, let's say for writing. And then there is progressive health conditions. So please, this particular visual that you're seeing on your screen becomes very important when you're trying to define what could be the probable use cases of your consumers. This is one very methodological way of approaching how you can solve for inclusive tech. So screening and identification of a disability or an impairment is the most crucial and sits on the top. After that, we look at what accommodations, what ways can be used to overcome that gap, to bridge that gap. And then we look, which is very crucial, that the quality of life through economic empowerment, whether it be education, employability, mobility, safety, communication, how can all of that be made better? And the last but not the least, it's very, very important that you also focus on access to remediation and treatment. So, if you're trying to focus on disability as a core through accessible solutions, these could be the 4 pillars that you're focusing on. Tech innovations need to address the needs of individuals with different abilities beyond just accommodation. What happens more than often, we are happy to just accommodate their needs, support their challenges, and we rest it over there. We don't look into how can screening be something that can be made more streamlined, more accessible. How can we improve the quality of the life of a person, and definitely continuous access to remediation and treatment. We have a lot of entities around us that broke these barriers. I have tried to just like put some very familiar names that sit across different intersections of how you can solve for accessibility challenges, especially for people with disabilities. And it's amazing to see that how a lot of this that was actually made for easy access, for easy accommodation, for better screening or better life standards and empowerment is more mainstreamed than we thought at the inception of most of these, right? So Grammarly, Lenskart, Audible, New Motion, Trestle Labs, Practo, these are very common names that we know, right? But these have broken the barriers of what we tend to not think of beyond just solving or providing one support element, which is also very crucial but should not be limited to only solutioning for that. The WHO estimates that by 2030, which is the next 5 years, more than 2.5 billion disabled people will need one or more assistive technology. So the market is continuously growing, and therefore we need to make sure that what we are creating for is sustainable and scalable, and that's going to only happen if accessibility becomes the core of your solutioning.
We are inventors. Hello. My name is Thomas. And this is Naveed. I'm well. Thank you. We are inventors. Ilu, Limelson, MIT. Student. Prize.
So again, this was one of the representations of how you can think of even trying to solve for, let's say, two various ends of the disability or accessibility spectrum by one tool, right? Again, a very small example of trying to make sure that how your element of solutioning is trying to solve for a larger purpose. The role of AI and neurodiverse minds in innovation solutioning is very crucial for us to understand how to leverage AI. AI for inclusion will talk about creating AI-driven screening tools in multiple Indian language for identification of multiple disabilities, specific learning disability being one, an immersive reader for multimedia content. Again, some basic ideas that I'm trying to throw around. AI-driven special educators and therapists, there's a massive gap. Inclusive AI, do we have enough data sets that we're using to train AI to be inclusive? Is AI on which most of our lives are going to be dependent on, it becomes one of the most important support mechanism for performance? Is that inclusive? Is generating AI giving us content that is inclusive? Are the AI driven solutions representative of this particular lot as well? Is your innovation community inclusive? Is your tech community inclusive? Is your design solutioning team, right, focusing on inclusion? Very important for you to understand the gaps that exist in terms of inclusion. Please be aware, just because there's a by large driven solution that exists for, let's say, for example, AI, right? Try and understand the gaps. How will you know this better? You can only know and understand this better if you interact with your environment. So even if you're very confident about a problem statement that you have, becomes very important to benchmark that problem statement as a larger gap or a solutioning need around you by talking to more people, by reading more about it, by doing both your primary and secondary research. We often feel that a problem statement that is closer to us, that we are very confident about, tends to dilute or even grow once we start talking and reaching out to people in our environment becomes very important, right? Some of the possible use cases can be divided across the four intersections that we spoke about. Very focused on disability. This could be further grown, right? You need to understand, benchmark them, justify them if they even make sense, if they have the potential that we're discussing or not. And that's all from our end for now. I would want to take questions. Do we have the possibility of picking up questions? We'll be more than happy to do so. You can always write to the facilitators and we can reach back to you. Before signing off, just a few things that I would want to remind you. Please make sure that your problem statement has the capacity of growing further or maybe getting diluted to a smaller version of it by talking to people around you. Keep accessibility at the core. Understand what accessibility looks like in the terms of the solution you are creating for. Very important to understand the users, the use cases you're developing for, and to be able to scale, sustain, and make your solution more scalable. You need to figure out and try to expand the horizons of who could be the probable users for you. Make sure that you're continuously in the touch of the representatives of the ecosystem that you're trying to solve for. Very important. So that's all from my end. Thank you so much. Please do write back if you have further questions when you start solutioning, in between of your solutioning, and all the very best. We really look forward to some of the best ideas and innovations coming out from this lot. Thank you so much.